Why, hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Get to Know Me, a series where famous people in history come to the studio so that you guys can learn more about them. Today we brought in Henrietta Swan Leavitt, who was born on July 4th, 1868. I am very excited to see what information she can share with us today. Okay, Miss Leavitt, take it away.
Hello everyone, I'm Henrietta Leavitt. As the announcer said, I was born on July 4th, 1868 in Lancaster, Massachusetts. I'm the oldest of 7 children, but sadly 2 of my younger siblings died when they were just infants. My family always seemed to be on the move because of my father's job, but when I was 17 we were living in Cleveland, Ohio, and so I enrolled in Ohio's Oberlin College. But we soon moved to a city called Cambridge, which is the home of Harvard University. Sadly, at the time, Harvard was not accepting women, so I ended up enrolling in the Harvard Annex. I graduated when I was 23 with a Bachelor of Arts degree, and I soon realized that I had a great interest in astronomy, so I went to volunteer at the Harvard Observatory, later leaving to make some of my own discoveries and then returning to work full-time. Sadly, I was not allowed to use the telescopes at Harvard or make my own observations at the school. My job, however, was to catalog and analyze hundreds of photos of the stars that were taken from all over the world. In fact, the only reason I was even allowed to do this job was because the university could not find any male astronomers that were willing to do the work. Anyway, now I want to cover a few commonly asked questions, starting with, what is a star? To understand my discoveries, you definitely need to understand what a star is. Although from Earth, stars just seem like tiny flickers of light, from a closer perspective, you can see that stars are in fact large balls of gas, mostly hydrogen and helium, that happen to be held together by their own gravity. Did you know that our sun is also a star, and the closest one to us? But even though it's the closest star, it's still very far off. It's 92 million miles away. Imagine how far the rest of the stars must be. Another question is, why do the stars only come out at night? Well, in the daytime, the sun is way too bright for us to see any of the much dimmer stars, but once it sets, the star's dim light is finally able to be seen again. As for how many stars we can see at night, well, that also fully depends on how much light is around you. And just in case you were wondering what a constellation is just a group of stars that make up an image in the sky, kind of like how you imagine shapes in the clouds. Another common question is, how many stars are there? Well, there's actually no real way to know exactly how many stars there are, but we know that there are hundreds of other galaxies, and our galaxy alone is home to over 300 billion stars, so there are estimated to be several trillion stars in the universe. So, why are some stars bright and some dim? Well, stars, like the sun, appear brighter because they are closer to the Earth, while other stars appear brighter just because they are bigger than the dimmer stars. As for twinkling, well, the simple answer is they don't. They just appear to twinkle because of the way the Earth's atmosphere affects the rays of light. The very last question is the sun the biggest star? Well, you might think that it is. Surprisingly, you'd be very wrong. In fact, there are lots of other stars that are bigger than the sun. One of the largest is 1,500 times bigger than our sun. Well, anyway, I have to go now, but thanks for having me. Bye!